right, joining us now with more, Ranking Member of the House Oversight and Reform Committee, Congressman James Comer is with us, and the Ranking Member of the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Jim Jordan. Jim, I'm going to start with you. You're a powerful voice within the Conservative Caucus, the Freedom Caucus, inside of Congress. Are you confident that various factions within the Republican Party are going to work together, stand as one, unite against the radicalism of the Democratic Party? Because I think Americans need to know that, in fact, there's going to be a lot that you can get done.
Yeah, I think the leader just said it well. We need to come together and stop the radical agenda of Joe Biden and the Democrats who've been running our government the last 2 years, who've given us the border that's no longer a border, who've given us record inflation, who've given us record crime, and who've given us $5 gas, not to mention what they have done to our liberties, our First Amendment rights, our Second Amendment rights. So, yeah, we had better stick together to fight those crazy policies and what they're doing to our Constitution. I thought the president said that last night, defending the things that make America special. So it's important that we do stick together and fight all the craziness we're seeing from today's left.
Now, you will be in charge of the investigation into whether or not our FBI has been politicized and whether or not our FBI has been, DOJ has been weaponized. That's a big investigation. Between you, Senator Chuck Grassley, and Senator Ron Johnson, we're told as many as 20 to 30 FBI informants have come forward, and they are telling stories how the FBI is so politicized that they felt compelled to do so. What are the American people going to learn based on what you know now, what these whistleblowers will be saying?
Well, first, Sean, it's not a question of if it's politicized. It is. We've had agents come talk to us, several agents to our office and Senator Grassley's office, who've said that it's, quote, one agent said it is rotted to the core at the top levels, not the rank and file agents, but the top levels at the Washington field office. And let's just use one name to show you how serious this problem is. Timothy Thibault, a whistleblower, went to Senator Grassley's office and said it was Mr. Thibault, who's the special agent in charge of the Washington field office here in D.C. He's the guy who suppressed information about the Hunter Biden story just days before, weeks before the most important election we have, the presidential election. We had a different whistleblower come talk to us and say, oh, by the way, that same guy, Timothy Thibault, is the one who is pressuring agents to label all cases as domestic violent extremism cases to fit this narrative of Joe Biden that half the country is extremist. So that's one guy in the critical office, the Washington field office, who's involved in all this politics. So again, I come back to this fundamental point. America's the greatest nation ever, but it's not America if you have a Justice Department that's political, that is not treating people equally under the law. That is exactly what we have. So we are committed to getting the truth out there, because only when you get the truth out do you have a chance to actually hold people accountable and change the behavior that is now happening at the highest levels of our Justice Department.
Congressman Comer, you will be investigating the issue of Hunter Biden and the laptop from hell. We've learned a lot. We've learned that not only Burisma in Ukraine and Joe Biden leveraging taxpayer dollars, but also monies from Kazakhstan. $3.5 million from the former First Lady of Moscow, and $100 million investment into Hunter Biden's business to buy real estate from that same former First Lady of Moscow. Then, of course, we have a Chinese national taking the Biden family on a shopping spree, the $1.5 billion deal with China, a $5 million no-interest forgivable loan. That sounds like a gift to me. And we also have within that laptop multiple implications that Joe Biden, in fact, lied to the country when he repeatedly said he never once talked to his son Hunter about his foreign business dealings. We have pictures, we've chronicled meetings with Hunter, foreign business partners, and Joe Biden. Do you believe that this is going to lead to a massive pay-to-play scandal that will expose the Biden family as a syndicate that made a fortune on cashing off of their dad's position?
It sure looks like it. And the first thing we're going to be able to prove tomorrow is that Joe Biden lied to the American people when he said he had no knowledge of Hunter Biden's business dealings. Not only did he have knowledge of Hunter's business dealings, we also have evidence that shows he was a large part of Hunter's business dealings, that he was an equity partner, that Hunter requested keys from the Chinese partners to have an extra key for Joe Biden and Joe Biden's brother so that they could have office space. so that Joe Biden could work with his son to work with the Chinese to get their foot in the door on the American energy industry. Now think about this, Sean, at a time when Americans are suffering from high energy prices because of Joe Biden's disastrous energy policy, and at a time when Joe Biden's had to go to Saudi Arabia to beg OPEC for more oil production, we've now learned, and we have a PowerPoint presentation that we're going to present in a press conference tomorrow in Chinese that Hunter was using to present to his backers in China a plan for China to get ownership and to purchase liquefied natural gas from producers all over the United States, and then even worse, to be able to get ownership in the infrastructure of the natural gas industry by purchasing an interest in the drillers. So when Joe Biden says he's going to get tough on China, I mean, Joe Biden was a partner with his son in trying to help China get an interest in our natural gas industry.
Is Joe Biden compromised, likely compromised by China, by Russia, by Ukraine, by Kazakhstan? Is this an influence peddling scandal we're talking about?
I think we've proven with the Fox viewers, we're going to prove with the mainstream media tomorrow that Hunter Biden's shady influence, shady businesses have compromised our national security. Now we're going to investigate Joe Biden to see if, in fact, that this White House is compromised. And when people see the amount of money that Hunter Biden has received from our adversaries in Russia, Ukraine, China, and the Middle East, I think they're going to be concerned, because right now the average person doesn't realize all the wrongdoing that Hunter's done. We're going to have a press conference tomorrow, Jim and I, and we're going to connect the dots on everything that you mentioned in your opening about all the wrongdoing with Biden's family. Because this is an influence peddling scheme from this family. And then we're going to make it very clear that this is now an investigation of President Biden.
Now, it's interesting because there's a little bit of overlap here, and that then raises the question of whether or not the FBI knew the entire time, and did they cover it up? Because they had this laptop for a long, long time now and never did anything with it.
And that's something that Jim, as chairman of the Judiciary Committee, is going to look into.
Yeah. Did the FBI? What prompted the FBI to go tell? What prompted the FBI to go tell Facebook? Oh, be on the lookout for Russian disinformation. Wink, wink, and suppress it, which then led to Facebook suppressing a story the country, the people should have had when they make the decision about who's going to be their commander in chief.
It's going to be a very different America in just a couple of short months. Amazing how one election can change things dramatically. Thank you both. When we come back,